Hi, my name's Heather. I'm going to lead you through a beginner level yoga class. We'll begin with a little bit of breath work, pranayama. Then we'll warm up our muscles a bit, and then we'll move into our asana practice, the yoga postures. At the end of class, we'll have a resting meditation, shavasana, and then we'll come back together at the end for a little bit more breath work. So to start the class, you want to sit with your back straight. Typically, people sit with their legs crossed, but sometimes it's a little bit hard on the low back. So you have two options. You can either sit up on something like a yoga block or a pillow, which elevates your hips. That's a little easier on the low back. Or you can sit with your legs out in front of you with your knees bent. Most important thing is that you have your back straight. So come into a position with your back straight, and then you can rest your hands wherever is comfortable. Close your eyes. And we'll begin by just noticing the natural breath. You don't have to change it in any way. Just bring awareness to the breath. You might rest your awareness on the movement of the chest. And now begin to lengthen the breath, counting to 4 on the inhale and exhale, just starting to slow the body down. With your breath long, we're going to add a visualization. Imagine in your mind's eye a square. We're going to alternate tracing sides of the square with inhaling, exhaling, and holding the breath. So on your next inhale, slowly count to 4 as you trace the first side of the square. Hold the breath, counting to 4 for the second side of the square. Exhale for 4, tracing the third side. And hold the breath for 4, completing the square. Inhale the first side. Hold the breath, tracing the second side. Exhale the third side. And hold the breath, completing the square. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Do 2 more rounds on your own. And then you can finish the square that you're on. End your visualization. Allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. And we'll just sit here noticing the breath for a few more moments. And then you can open your eyes and we'll begin warming up. So let's take the chin up to the ceiling, stretching through the front of the neck. And then bring the chin down to the chest, stretching through the back of the neck. Chin back up to the ceiling. And down to the chest. One more time up. And down. And then you can bring your head back up to neutral. Take your right ear to your right shoulder Reach behind your back and grab your left forearm, gently pulling the left arm down so that the stretch goes up the left arm, into the left shoulder, up into the left neck. And then you can switch. And then you can bring your head back up. Grab opposite forearms in front of the body. Bring the arms up overhead. Move the elbows to the right. Look left. Try to stretch all the way down the top of the left arm into the left waist. And then switch sides. And then you can bring your arms back up to center and release. And now bring your right arm across the body using your left forearm to just pull it into the chest. And switch. And then you can release your arm and we'll come into a twist. So bring your left hand onto your right knee. Your right hand comes directly behind you. Sit up tall and then twist your shoulders to the right. On your inhales, lengthen your spine, sitting up a little bit taller. And on your exhales, twist the shoulders just a little more. So you're making these small movements with each breath that move you into a deeper expression of the pose the longer you hold it. And now we'll come around to the other side. So now your right hand is on your left knee, left hand's behind. Inhales, you're lengthening the back. Exhales, you're twisting. Bring your shoulders back around to the front. And from here, we'll move on to our hands and knees for tabletop pose. So you're going to bring your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips, and we're going to continue to warm up the spine with some cat-cow stretches. So on your next inhale, let the belly sink down towards the mat, look up to the ceiling. On your exhale, drop the head down and round up through the upper back. On the inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, round up through the upper back. And then do 3 more, moving with your breath. After you've done 3, you can come back to table. Pause here for a breath. And then keeping your hips over your knees, you're going to walk your hands out as far as you can get them. Bring your forehead down onto the mat. Your arms are long and straight. Your elbows are straight. And now take a few deep breaths, noticing if you're holding any tension in the shoulders, letting the shoulders soften a bit with each exhale. And then you can walk your hands back up into table and put your weight into your left hand. Bring your right arm out, palm facing center. Put your weight into your right knee. Kick your left foot back, foot flexed. So you have the opposite arm and leg extended. You're finding a drishti point, just a spot to stare at, something that's not moving. Locking your eyes helps with balance. Now from here, we're going to move with the breath. So on the inhale, you'll stay here. And on your exhale, you'll bring your elbow to your knee. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. And then you can come back to table and we'll switch sides. Left arm comes out, right foot kicks back. Find a drishti point, lock your eyes, calm your breath. And now we'll move with the breath. Inhale, stay here. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale and exhale. One more. And then you can make your way back to table. From here, sit on the heels, coming into child's pose. Walk your hands out. Bring your forehead down onto the mat. And then alternately lean a little bit into your left shoulder. Lean a little bit into your right shoulder. Back to the left. And to the right. One more time. And then make your way back up to the table. From here, we're going to come into plank pose. So for plank pose, you're going to have your legs straight, your knees straight, hands under the shoulders. If plank is ever too much for you, you can always just bring the knees down. From plank, we're going to come into downward facing dog, so bringing the hips up to the ceiling. Begin pedaling the feet, alternately bringing one heel down and then the other. Starting to wake up the backs of the legs. Then from here, we'll come back into plank and hold. And then lower your knees down. Lower your belly down. Hands are on either side of the chest, elbows pointing straight back. Lift your shoulders up just a little bit for baby cobra. And now back to child's pose. We'll continue stretching the shoulders, so alternately lean a little into the left shoulder, then lean a little into the right shoulder. And then make your way back into table. Straighten the legs for plank. And downward facing dog, pedal the feet. Come back to plank. Lower the knees, then lower the belly. Shoulders up for cobra. Maybe bring the shoulders up a little bit more this time. Think about lengthening through the back. And then back to child's pose. Forehead down on the mat, arms long and straight. This time, walk the hands over to the right. Lean your body weight into the left shoulder. Then walk the hands over to the left and lean into the right shoulder. And then walk the hands back to the center. Make your way back to table and to plank. And downward facing dog. One last time, pedaling the feet. From here, look at your hands. Walk forward, coming into a forward fold. And then bend the knees, grab opposite elbows, let your upper body hang down. Try to relax the muscles in the back. Two more deep breaths here, trying to relax the back. And then on your next inhale, you can bring your hands to your hips, and then very slowly bring your upper body back up. And then from here, we'll come into warrior one. So we'll bring our right foot forward, our left foot back. The back foot is at 90 degrees. The hips and shoulders are squared facing the front. Right knee is bent, arms are straight up. Press into the outer edge of the back foot. That's what helps make this a hip stretch. And then from here, we'll bring the hands down, make your way to plank. Lower the knees again, coming into cobra, so belly comes down, hands on either side of the chest, shoulders up. Think about lengthening through the back, creating distance between the hips and shoulders. And now you're going to turn your toes under and push yourself back into downward facing dog. From here, bring your awareness to your hands. Think about pressing through the four corners of the palms so you're evenly distributing your weight and you're pushing the mat away from you. See if that allows you to bring your sternum a little bit lower down towards the mat. And then from here, you're going to look at your hands, walk forward again. This time on your inhale, you're going to come halfway up with a flat back, look in front. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, sweep the hands out to the side, up to the ceiling, reach up, and then exhale, bring your hands to prayer position. And then return your awareness to your breath. Maybe taking a few deep breaths here. And now we'll step into Warrior One with our left foot forward, our right leg back. So remember the back leg is at 90 degrees, hips and shoulders squared facing the front, pressing down through the outer edge of the back foot. And now we'll make our way down into plank. And then lower down, knees first, then belly, hands on either side of the chest, shoulders up for cobra. And then turning the toes under, press into the hands, come back into downward facing dog. Bring your awareness to your breath. On your next inhale, look at your hands, walk forward again. On your inhale, you're going to come up halfway. On your exhale, you're going to fold down. Inhale, hands all the way up to the ceiling, reach up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Return your awareness to your breath. And now we'll come back into Warrior One with the right foot forward, left leg back. Keeping the feet the same, turn the hips and shoulders to the left, arms come out parallel for Warrior Two. You're still pressing into the outer edge of the back foot. Your torso is perpendicular. You're looking out over the middle finger of the front hand. And now we'll turn back to Warrior One just for one breath. And then bring the hands down, make your way to plank. From here, lower your knees for table, and then we'll come onto the knees, bring the right leg out for low lunge. So you want a wide enough stance that you're feeling a stretch through the left quadricep. You want your right knee to be over the ankle. You can rest your hands on the top of the thigh. Take a few deep breaths here, noticing if you're holding any tension in the hips that you might be able to soften. Maybe the hips sink a little bit with each exhale. And then we'll shift the hips back so that the left hip is over the left knee. Rotate onto the heel of the right foot, and then fingertips come tented down to the ground. Try to keep your back straight. So as you fold forward, you're thinking about moving the lower abdomen towards the upper thigh. And with each exhale, maybe you fold just a little bit more. And then you can bring your upper body up and we'll switch sides. So the left leg comes out for a low lunge. Bring your awareness to your breath. Notice if you can use your exhales to soften the hips. And then we'll shift back to half split, so rotating onto the left heel, fingertips come down. With each exhale, think about folding a little bit deeper. And then you can make your way back up and come into table. From here, straighten the legs for plank, and then to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, look at your hands, walk into your forward fold. On your inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, sweep the hands out to the side, up to the ceiling. And then exhale, hands to prayer. Take a few deep breaths. And now we'll step into Warrior One with the left foot forward, right foot back. Now turning the hips and shoulders to the right for Warrior Two. Back to Warrior One for a breath. Hands come down, make your way to plank. Bring your knees down, lower the belly, hands on either side of the chest, shoulders up for cobra. Turn the toes under, push up to downward facing dog. Look at your hands, walk forward. On your inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands to prayer. Take a few deep breaths. And now we'll come into Warrior One again. Left foot back, right foot forward. Warrior Two. Now keeping the lower body the same, bring the right elbow to the top of the right knee, palm facing up. And then bring your left arm up and overhead. You're aiming your fingers on the left hand for where the wall and the ceiling meet. You're looking up towards the ceiling, trying to get that upper shoulder in line with the lower shoulder. One more deep breath here. See if you can reach the left hand up a little higher. And then we'll come back into Warrior Two, just for a breath. And then straighten the right leg. Bring the hands to the hips. Rotate your toes now so both toes are pointing forward. You have a wide stance. Your toes are more or less lined up with each other. We're going to come into wide straddle fold. So press into the four corners of the feet. Lift your kneecaps. And then on your next inhale, lengthen your spine. And then fold at the hip crease, starting to bring the upper body down. Hands move towards the mat. Eventually, you want to get to a point where your legs are straight, but it's fine to have your knees bent a little bit here as you're beginning. Bring awareness to your breath and use your exhales to deepen your pose so that with each exhale, you get a little deeper into the pose, stretching through the backs of the legs a little bit more with each breath. On your next inhale, bring your hands to your hips, and then slowly bring your upper body back up. Now we're going to turn the left toes to point to the short side of the mat. We're going to come into Warrior Two. So hips and shoulders are turned. This time to the right, arms are parallel. You're pressing through the outer edge of the back foot. Now we're going to come into side angle pose, elbow to the top of the knee, right arm overhead. One more breath, really reach that right hand up, stretching along the whole right side body. And then back to Warrior Two. And now turning the hips and shoulders to the front of the mat, bring your arms up for Warrior One. From here, bring the hands down, make your way to plank. Lower the knees down, then lower the belly. Shoulders up for Cobra. Turn the toes under, push yourself up into Downward Facing Dog. From here, look at your hands, walk into your forward fold. On your inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, sweep the hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring your hands to prayer. Take a few deep breaths. And now we'll come into Warrior One with the right foot back, left foot forward. And to Warrior Two. And now straighten the left leg. We're going to come into triangle pose. So imagine someone's pulling your left hand, shifting you to the left. Rotate the arms perpendicular. You're looking towards the ceiling, trying to get the upper shoulder in line with the lower shoulder. And the left hand comes anywhere along the inside of the left leg. Use your breath to deepen the pose. So with each exhale, you fold just a little bit more. And then on your next inhale, you can bring your arms back up, hands to the hips. Rotate the left toes, so now you're in position for wide straddle fold again. This time we're going to interlace the hands behind the back. We'll press into the feet, lift the kneecaps. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And then on the exhale, fold forward as you move your hands away from the back. Bring your awareness to your breath. With each exhale, see if you can move your hands a little bit further away from the back, making very small adjustments to deepen the stretch with the breath. And then on your next inhale, you can make your way up slowly. Release the hands. We'll turn the right toes to face the short side of the mat. Arms come up. We'll shift to the right and then rotate for triangle pose. Bring your awareness to your breath. With each exhale, see if you can make a very small adjustment to deepen the stretch. One more breath. And then you can make your way back up with your arms parallel. Bend your knee, coming into Warrior Two. And now shifting into warrior one. Bring your hands down, make your way to plank. From here, we'll come into table. So bring the knees down, then come up onto the knees. We'll come into low lunge again with our right leg forward. Now we'll move with the breath, alternating between low lunge and half split. So inhale, stay here. Exhale, shift back, rotating onto the front heel. Inhale forward. Exhale back. One more. And then hold here in half split. Bring your awareness to your breath, seeing if you can fold a little bit more with each breath. But resist the urge to let the shoulders collapse, trying to keep the back straight. And then you can make your way back up. Bring the left leg out for low lunge. We'll begin by just holding the pose, letting the hips relax. And now we'll move with the breath. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. And hold. And then you can make your way back into tabletop pose. And from here, straighten the legs for plank. And then hips up for downward facing dog. On your next inhale, look at your hands, walk forward. On your inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, sweep the hands up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring your hands to prayer position. Take a few deep breaths. Okay, now make your way onto your seat with your feet flat on the floor. You're going to have your hands on the mat, fingertips pointing forward, and we're going to lift the hips up, coming into reverse table. If you have tight shoulders, you might not want to bring your hips all the way up. Just bring them up until you're feeling a stretch through the shoulder. And then you can bring your hips back down, and we'll transition into half boat pose. So the shins come parallel to the mat, arms are parallel. You're balancing on your hip bones, engaging the core muscles to help with balance. Then we'll come back into reverse table, so hands on the mat behind the hips. Lifting the hips up, letting your head just be neutral in line with the neck. One more time to half boat. And then you can bring your hands and your feet down. I'm going to turn just to the camera so you can see me, but you can stay in line with your mat. You're going to bring your right leg flat onto the mat, your left leg bent. You're going to bring your left heel on the outer edge of the right foot. Bring your right arm around the knee, so opposite arm and knee, and then bring your left hand behind you. Sit up tall with a straight back, twist the shoulders to the left. On your inhales, try to lengthen the spine, sitting up even taller. And on the exhale, see if you can twist just a little bit more. And then you can bring your shoulders back around to the front, and we'll switch legs. So bring the right leg on the outer edge of the left thigh. Left arm wraps around the right knee, right hand behind you. On your inhales, you're lengthening the spine. Exhales, you're twisting. And then you can bring your shoulders back around to the front. And then make your way onto your back with your knees bent, pointing straight up to the ceiling. You want your knees and hips and ankles to all be in line, so try to prevent the knees from splaying out to the sides. Try to get them pointing straight up to the ceiling. Then cross your right ankle over the left knee. So now you have a figure 4 shape with your legs. Reach your right hand in between the legs, clasping under the left thigh. And then pull the left thigh in towards the body, stretching through the right hip. With each exhale, see if you can pull the leg in just a little bit more. And then you can release, and we'll switch sides. Left ankle crossing over the right knee. Left hand reaching in between the legs, clasping under the right thigh. Continue to make small adjustments with the breath, deepening the pose. And then you can release your leg, let the soles of both feet come flat onto the mat. Check to make sure that your feet are close enough that you can just barely touch the backs of the heels with your fingertips. Knees are pointing straight up, so the feet, the hips, the knees are all in alignment. And now we're going to come into bridge pose, pressing into the feet. Lift the hips up, interlace the hands under the back, then walk the shoulder blades towards each other, lifting the hips up as high as you can get them. One more breath here. And then you can release the hands, let the hips come down, let the knees just windshield wiper from side to side. And then you can bring the knees back up, pointing to the ceiling. Let the left leg come flat onto the mat and pull the right knee into the chest. Using your left hand, pull the right knee across the body so that now you're on the outer edge of your left hip. Your right arm comes straight out to the side from the shoulder. Take a few deep breaths here, seeing if you can relax the back. And then you can come onto your back again, pull both knees into the chest, wrapping the hands around the shins. Keep hold of the left leg, let the right leg come flat onto the mat. And now we'll come into the twist on the other side. So pull the left leg across the body, coming onto the outer edge of the right hip. And then take a few deep breaths using your exhales to relax the back. Come on to the back. Feet flat on the floor, knees pointed straight up to the ceiling. You're going to cross your right knee over your left, and then swing both of the knees over to the left side. Arms come straight out from the shoulder like a T. Continue to breathe deeply, trying to relax the back, letting your back relax into the twist. Bring your knees up to the ceiling, uncross the legs, recross them, this time with the left leg on top, and then swing the knees over to the right. Continue breathing deeply, relaxing the back with each exhale. And then bring the knees up, uncross the legs. You can bring the knees into the chest, wrapping the hands around the shins. And then you can let your legs come flat onto the mat. We'll come into our resting position now, Shavasana. So your legs are flat on the mat. Your feet are about mat width apart. Let your knees and your feet kind of splay out to the sides. Your arms are by your side, palms facing up, eyes closed. Begin by scanning through the body, noticing if there's any place where you can soften your muscles. Bring your awareness to the muscles in the face. See if you can relax them a little bit. Move your awareness to your shoulders. And then to the hips, noticing if you can relax the muscles in the hips a bit more. And now bring your awareness to your breath, resting your awareness on the movements of the chest. And begin to lengthen the breath, counting to 4 on your inhale and exhale. And now we'll count back our breaths from 10, keeping them long. Inhale, 10. Exhale, 10. Inhale 9. Exhale 9. Keep going, counting back. Begin to bring awareness back to your breath. Begin to lengthen the breath, counting to 4 on your inhale and exhale. And then when you feel ready, you can roll to your side. And then slowly push yourself up into a seated position. Sitting again with your legs crossed or maybe out in front of you with the knees bent. Making sure that your back is straight. You can close your eyes. Focus again on the breath. Lengthening the breath to the count of 4. And now we'll add a mantra to the breath work. This one comes from the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh. On your inhale, you'll repeat to yourself, breathing in, I calm my body. On the exhale, breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Keep going. And then you can end your mantra. Allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. You can open your eyes. Thank you all so much for sharing your practice with me. We'll close class by bringing our hands into prayer position. And we'll wish each other namaste, which means the light in me honors the light in me. Namaste.